Greetings, folks, and welcome back to rolling close to the new year here. See, I've got my fresh cut, wearing a different shirt finally. Don't think I spend the whole holidays like that, but you never know. But welcome back to Not Funny Guys Presents Red Dwarf Rewatch. I am your host, Dr. John, and right now we are moving into this, well, about to midway point. We're almost to the midway, now let's put it at the midway point of Series 8, Episode 4, Cassandra, directed by Ed Bye, written by Doug Naylor. And this one was released on the 11th of March, 1999. Now, going forward, I want to quickly say that I'm going to be using the UK releases because they start having US releases, and they start releasing them like in bunches on the same day. So I'm going to stick to the UK release date. So just know that going forward. But let's talk about a summary. So Rimmer, Lister, Cat, Krytie, and Kachansky have been sentenced to, like we found out last time, 2 years in the tank on the secretive Floor 13. Basically for stealing and crashing a Starbug, abusing confidential information during their trial in virtual reality. In fact, I think actually only the abuse of the confidential information is the actual thing they end up being charged for. Lister apparently signs them up, the whole gang, for the Canaries, which he thinks is an a cappella group, but in fact it's actually people who get sent in first to make sure it's safe. Lister, of course, is quite unaware of this. Apparently, they've been utilized in the past to do recon on uncharted planets. Their first assignment is to investigate an abandoned Space Corps spaceship on an ocean planet where they discover Cassandra, played by Geraldine McEwen, a computer that can predict the future. However, it spells bad news for Rimmer when Cassandra predicts that he is going to die. So, let's break this down. So, we open ourselves approaching, of course, Red Dwarf, and then we immediately pick up where we left everybody off. We're back in the tank on floor 13. Lister returns to the quarters. He speaks to Holly on the watch, projects on the screen, looking for a way out. Unfortunately, Holly, all he's really come up with is he can do this in like 14 weeks if he was a dog. 2 years. Yeah, that apparently there's a roveroscopy. You can become a dog. He found this out from the National Enquirer, which makes sense. Yikes. Rimmer comes in. They've all apparently come from some hard labor in the mines. They've got little hard hats. Rimmer's complaining again about how he got here. They're going to be stuck here for 2 years. Lister starts trying to rationalize these things, like getting centered. The guard brings them a Canaries project thing. Lister had no idea what he thinks. Like I said, he thinks it's an a cappella group. Rimmer knows what it is, though. And then he has to basically break the news to Lister. This is a hazardous job. You know, canaries in the coal mine, what were they for? It's a real warning to others, basically, is what you get to be the first to go in and see if it's safe. Rimmer claims the Canaries are supposedly supposed to stand for Convict Army Nearly Retarded Inbred Evil Sheep Shackers. Apologize for that trigger warning on that R word there, but, you know. Lister only now reveals that he obviously signed everybody up, not just himself. Forged Rimmer's signature. Krytie, Chris, Cat, the whole lot are going to be there, I know. So we didn't see them at the lineup. Apparently, some reason I think somehow Rimmer got to be the leader. Captain Hollister comes in to give them their special meeting. They've located the Silverbug, a sunk ship. There's no crew, no bodies, so they suspect they don't know what's going on here. So they're going to be sent on board to find out what happens. Rimmer then tries to actually turn them into an a cappella group in front of the captain, which really pisses off the warning when they try to start singing "You Are the Sunshine" to no avail. Rimmer, like I said, is the leader. There's one of these guys is really psychoed up. And they meet on the way down in the little diving bell pod. On the ship, the crew tries to stay together. They go find the mainframe while the rest of the Canaries spread out. Here they meet Cassandra. Like I said, Geraldine, we mentioned her before. She actually played Agatha Christie, this Marple character in that series, and she was the witch sidekick to the Alan Rickman, the Sheriff of Nottingham, and Kevin Costner's Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves back in the day. So, unfortunately, she left us in 2015, but still a fun part. Apparently, the problem with Cassandra is that she can predict the future, or at least has an uncanny ability to do so. She even knows Arnold's name and his only jacket only says Rimmer. Predicts all their statements. They keep talking about what kind of questions should they ask and trying to decide. Rimmer says he has a question. Cassandra says she already knows the answer. She describes apparently Lister's death at the age of 181, trying to take off a bra with his own teeth, which he thinks is not a bad way to go. But he really didn't want to know. Cassandra tells Krytie to share his theory. And Krytie's theory is that Cassandra is sent here on autopilot to exile her, that no one wanted this robot with this ability, this computer with this ability. That's why there's no crew. She then lets them know that they're never getting out of here alive, that apparently the ship is already beginning to flood, predicts their deaths, and everyone but the main crew. So Chris, Kat, Krytie, and Lister will supposedly survive. Rimmer won't. He will die of a heart attack. Crew return to the main hold area to sort of wait out their fate, because as they learned in things and they talk about future echoes, there's really apparently a strong belief in them that they can't actually change the future. Rimmer and Lister then end up debating about the changeability and the lack thereof, and Krytie sort of posits the idea that Rimmer's power of sort of, shall we say, ignorance is something he can harness to maybe save them, have a good idea, because they're all pessimistic. Rimmer thinks it's all about the name, thinks he can weevil out of it. So he goes and he switches clothes with one of the guards and takes him to the mainframe. The other guy dies of a heart attack when he finds out they're about to die, wearing Rimmer's vest. Name didn't work. Only survivors are Kat, Chris, Dave, and Krytie, according to Cassandra. Krytie even then goes on to prove this thing by testing a gun. He tries to shoot himself, doesn't work, tries to shoot everybody, tries to shoot Rimmer, tells him to duck. He avoids getting killed. Krytie says that they could maybe use their powers of invincibility, because as long as they're on the ship, they won't die. They think that maybe they can save Rimmer. They sort of surround him and work their way back to Diving Bell, only to find out that he fell through the middle of the group a little ways back. They go to find him. Chris goes down to retrieve him, but they end up getting separated as the water starts whooshing in. So they're stuck in their own compartment near Cassandra in the bowels. He goes back to Cassandra. He's going to apparently die, as he comes to find out from her, by sleeping with Krashansky. And Lister will find them and shoot him through the head with harpoon gun mid-coitus. This gets really quite funny. Rimmer is very much now okay with dying. He dying in the middle of lovemaking, he's fine. So he starts telling this to Chris, like they're caught in this causality. They can't escape this. It's going to happen. And she's very much in shock. She's very confused. Can't change the future. He's like, let's make this happen. Crew in the Diving Bell with that one crazy guy who banged his head on the way out are basically going back in order to get him. Meanwhile, Rimmer is in an active mode trying to seduce Chris into having sex with him. But Lister finds them first, and Rimmer is very much upset that he didn't wait 30 minutes. But Lister claims he figured it out. Apparently this is thanks to Krytie, but Cassandra is manipulating them. Cassandra is supposed to die by Lister. She is trying to punish him in the meantime to, get some satisfaction out of his death. Lister goes to confront Cassandra, talk about free will and determinism again. Lister decides not to kill her, puts his gum on the wall. The gum falls over, knocks a lamp down onto a fan that blows over the glass with a drink in it, spills, gets the cables wet, and kills Cassandra. And we cut. Oops. Oh, love it. So next time we'll have Krytie TV as we go into the back end of Series 8. So come back for more of that. In the meantime, please write us. I've got the description. All our socials are down below. So is our email. But I've got it down here in the ticker, as I always do. notfunnyguys.offthereels@gmail.com. Write, talk to us about what we're doing here on the YouTube, things you'd like to see different, things you'd like to see us cover here, but also over on our other material as well. You can throw in ideas there or just comment. And so we have 3. We've got our main Not Funny Guys Presents Off the Reels podcast, where we're into the second trilogy, I guess you would say. We just released Jurassic World 2015, and next week we will have Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. So, and then we've got 2 more after that. So come check those out, and we'll see what we're moving on to soon enough after Casey decides how he's going to punish us, I'm sure. After that, if that's not your cup of tea, we also have our Wrestling with the Horror of It All. Not Funny Guys presents Wrestling with the Horror of It All, where Casey and Eric, my two other main podcast hosts, talk about wrestling, WWE wrestling, and horror films. So if any of that floats your boat, check that out. Finally, I think we will be putting up a YouTube thing, thinking of our original podcast, covering some of our stuff. We're doing a little bit of a year in review. I think I'm making Casey responsible for that, but he'll be posting that to the YouTube sometimes in and around here the New Year's. And on that main podcast as well, you may also come back for our Pornhub year in review, because we just find that so pervertedly hilarious. It's always worth knowing what everybody's kink is. And finally, if any of those things are not your flavors, you can always check out myself, Dr. John, and our Not Funny Gal, Dr. Kristen, over on Not Funny Guys Presents Thinking About Thinking, where we talk about things like culture, AI, history, literature. We bounce all over the place, basically things we're thinking about. But until then, remember, don't be a smeghead, keep it not funny, and I'll see you next time. I'm getting so close, but I'm not doing that flourishing wave ever again.